What's happening, everybody? Appreciate you guys checking in. I know we didn't go live on Sunday. Big days in Pittsburgh. That's all I got to say. Big days in Pittsburgh. We had a damn good time at the draft, but I know a lot of people were kind of very interested as to what our take is, our reaction is. A lot of people that rocked with us throughout the pre-draft lives and everything. You guys kind of know where we stood, especially with that number 1 overall pick. And so I know I've been hit up a couple times and everybody's like, hey, when are you going live? Because we want to know what your thoughts are, reaction is, and shout out to everybody that was at the draft. We're going to give you guys a shout out here in just a second, but we're going to talk everything draft. We're not going to touch on the undrafted free agents. We're going to wait for Sunday to really talk about the undrafted free agents, because I'll be honest, like I want to do a real good kind of just deep dive on the undrafted free agents, do a little more research on who they are. But we're going to strictly talk about the players that we drafted, starting from the number 1 all the way to that D tackle in the 7th round. And so we're going to give you our feedback. We definitely want to hear from you guys as well. But before you guys do, if you do us a favor, double tap that screen, hit that like button, hit that sub button if you want to get included in the chat. We will get to the chat here in just a second, but gotta say what's up to my guy. Before we jumped on, I just like, hey man, did you recover? Because we had some fun in Pittsburgh, and he recovered strong as well as I did. But Chris, man, what's happening?
Man, what's going on, man? I'm feeling good. Yeah, it was definitely a weekend, man. We had a good time, man. Lots of drinks, lots of emotions up and down, man. But it was a hell of a time, man. So salute to you and Severe and Jeff and LV Gear. It was a lot of people. Myra, everybody that pulled up, man. It was a good one, man. It was a good one.
It was fun for sure.
Jeff,
so,
yeah.
I didn't hit you with this question earlier, and don't mean to kind of like put you on the spot, but honestly, like what was your favorite like part of the weekend outside of me, not the draft picks, nothing like that, just like what was the favorite part of the week?
I don't know, man. I feel like just like after the draft, like after each day was over, we all kind of like kicked it at the bar at Redbeard's, and we tore that thing up, man. Yeah, we tore that bar up, bro.
We went back to that bar so many times, and yeah. I'm telling you, my thing up. Account reminded me how many times we went back to that bar. That's all I gotta say.
Lots of shots.
It was good though, man. Between you and Severe, yeah, like you said, shout out to Jeff, shout out to Predator. He was out there. Anthony,
yeah.
Myra, our guy Severe, he's not gonna be with us today. He's gonna pop in on Sunday, so he'll definitely give you his takes on the draft as well. We're gonna break this whole thing down, but man, from the moment we all linked up and hitting that diner spot to start to start it off, and then we hit the draft. I'll be honest, Redbeard was cool, but I think what was pretty legit was sitting in Steelers Stadium watching the draft.
Yeah, that was cool.
You know, around just the entire crowd, all the fans of all different teams, and getting everybody's reaction, you know, based off of every single pick. And so I think them opening up that Steelers Stadium, and you can actually watch it on the Jumbotron around everybody. Shout to East Coast, Gridiron Apex. Dante.
Yeah, he pulled up.
Rocked us and had a good time. And so, yeah, but definitely the after party was always cool with at Red Beers. So shout out to everybody. But we'll say what's up to the chat. Appreciate everybody. Remember, double tap the screen, hit the like button. You got Chris Pick Show podcast on 805 Raiders. Severe Raiders typically with us. Couldn't join us today, but he's definitely going to hit us up on Sunday and give you his take on the draft. But we're saying what's up, Jack. What's happening, man? Appreciate you rocking. Xavier, what's happening? Appreciate you pulling up. What up? Cheeto Linus. Shout out to him, man. He did his own little day 1 draft party in my hometown, man. So he got to meet up with the 805 crew over there. That was cool.
Yeah. Salute to Cheeto, man. Make sure you hit him up for all the the Mendoza gear and all that. He got you all sizes. You know what I'm saying? He'll get you all the way together.
100%. I think Cheeto has his own either
channel on IG
channel or something like that. So Cheeto, do us a favor, put the link in the chat, in both chats, just so everybody knows where they can go get some apparel. But also, if you guys are going to be in SoCal, in Bakersfield, I'll be there. Cheeto Linus is going to be there. Raider Nation Summer Kickoff. So if you guys are going to be in SoCal, definitely hit us up. We're gonna pull up and have a little bit of fun. Last year was a lot of fun. What up, Jason? What's going on, brother? What's it? Yeah, 2/3 of the crew is better than none. Appreciate you, big dog. And shout out to you, man, for kind of calling that trade back with Houston. I believe that was I think that was the 3rd round trade back. I think it was. But
yeah,
to you calling out the trade back, man. Edgar, what's going on? Raiders resistance in the building as well. Appreciate you pulling up, big dog. Let's see. Raider Ben in the building. What's happening, man?
Ben Thur, what's happening?
Let's see. Yvette, always good seeing you. You always
what's going on?
We got DC.
DC in the building. What's happening?
Without a sleeveless t-shirt. I rewatched, I think it was Cheetos Live and with Will and Jeff. And Jeff showed a picture of all of us. All 3 of us and Jeff. And yeah, I had sleeves all weekend. Okay. I had sleeves all weekend. Which
I damn near had my belly out, man.
Yeah, man. Got hot, man. Not gonna lie.
Nah, that one video that Dante he put up because he was sitting like a row below us and he was taking our reaction. Man, that was a bad video for me, man. I'm getting back in the gym, man. Get back in the gym, bro.
Hey, no
I look like Brandon Parker, a 7th round pick, bro. I'm getting it together though by season.
That's all right. I was after like the 10th shot, man. Again, I went back. And
it got real.
Down. Daniel, what's going on, man? Appreciate you rocking. Yeah, Gridiron's cool, man. Definitely, guys, go check out Gridiron Apex, man. He always hits you with a ton of just player prospects. His own breakdown, like we always say. Definitely, you can take it for what you will, but at the same time, definitely go do your homework.
I got a new respect for him. I gotta admit, I got a new respect for him. Just kind of as we were just sitting there chilling, like we literally was sitting at the last day of the draft. You know what I'm saying, at the bar, or, at the restaurant, and we're still talking about players, and he knew in great detail about these 6th and 7th round players, man. So like he really takes that craft seriously, man. So I definitely got a new appreciation for him and his knowledge and the work he puts in, man. So salute to Dante, man. He a real one.
Yeah, I 100% agree. What up, DJ? What's going on, man? Yeah, resistance the 36, where we moved back to 38. Yeah, that was so 2nd round. But yeah, shout out to you, Jason, for calling that one out. Cheeto, yeah, dropping that link, big dog. Hey, if you guys want some merch, definitely go hit up Cheeto Linus for sure. iPan in the building as well. What's going on, SoCal? What's happening, man? And we were gonna talk about this draft, Gabriel. We had a good draft. We're gonna give our take as well. So we're going to jump into it. Appreciate everybody that's rocking out with us on this Wednesday. Double tap the screen, hit the like button. Again, you got Chris Protect Show podcast. I'm 805 Raider. Channel's Real Talk Raider Nation. Definitely after this, go hit up our guy Severe. And he'll be with us on Sunday. Yeah, speaking of, what up, Dante? Definitely good. Chopping it up, linking up with you in Pittsburgh. Chris just said some really good things about you, man. Appreciate you linking up with us. And I was not going to say nothing.
I still want that piece of cake, bro. That was, oh man.
The cake looked damn good. Not gonna lie.
Salute to Severe, man.
Rick, what's going on, man? You said, what's up, guys? Great talking. I still think we need a stud receiver number 1, Central Valley Tulare in the house. 559.
What's going on, Rick, man? Appreciate you coming through.
Okay. Last but not least, Marcus Banks. What's happening, big dog? Cheeto. Hey.
It was real. It was real, bro.
Every time we ate that diner. That's neither here nor there. It's no longer here.
Let's get into these picks, baby. Let's get into these picks.
All right, so we're going to share it up. All right, guys. Look, we're just going to talk about it, give us our take. Definitely let us know how you feel about it. But we're going to start it off with obviously what everybody want to talk about. I think Jeff got a little bit of a inside view when we did get the pick. I think he went live and kind of got all of our reaction. Shout out to you, Jeff. But let's talk about Fernando Mendoza. All right, chat, let us know what your thoughts are. Obviously, we've got him number 1. I know a lot of the talk on this channel, on these lives, we talked about the trade back. Obviously, did not happen, but to be very clear, we always said yes. If we would have put money on it, it was going to be a Fernando Mendoza pick. But Chris, man, I'm gonna throw it to you first, and I'll give my take. Just thoughts on Fernando Mendoza, your reaction to it, and how you feel about it.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, we all knew it was going to happen. I mean, we were kind of holding out some hope just because we were trying to look, we're just kind of look long term. But at the end of the day, he's a pick. And the thing is, I think he could be a good quarterback. So I want to make sure that's clear as day. I think he'll be a good quarterback. I believe with the offensive minded coach, like we have, it could work. But we have to do our part as a team to give him weapons. We're going to have to protect him. We're going to have to, basically take our time with him because he hasn't been under center much. So there's a lot of things. I think having Kirk there is going to be beneficial. I don't know how much of a mentor Kirk's really going to be to him because Kirk's going to be out there trying to ball and earn a spot and try to do what he got to do. But at the end of the day, Fernando, he's our guy of the future. So, I totally support him. And I hope he is as good as everyone thinks he is, so that's kind of where I'm at. As long as we put him in the right system, try to just keep him out of harm's way. I think he'll definitely put the work in, from a cerebral standpoint, putting in, understanding the defenses and all that stuff. He's going to put the time in. So I have no question about that. No worries. But I think we're just going to have to probably take our time with getting them out there. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at with them.
Yeah. So look, at the end of the day, for me, I still have the question marks that I talked about during our lives, right? All those question marks remain. But now that he's in the building, I hope that he does answer the question marks, because obviously we knew 95% of the fan base wanted Fernando Mendoza. And I will say the way that the crowd, man, being in Pittsburgh and when the pick happened, the amount of Raider fans that just came together, united the fan base. Honestly, it was good to see. So
it was.
So I hope that at least with the question marks that I have, I hope that he comes through and this organization answers those question marks, at least that I have. And I do think I got to give at least Spytek, Clint Kubiak, but mainly obviously Spytek being the GM. I think they set it up properly in a sense that you bring in Kirk Cousins and you give Kirk Cousins the best chance to succeed. And if he does succeed, then Fernando Mendoza can kind of sit and learn. So at least at the end of the day, I think they set it up properly to allow him to learn and then start when he's ready. You're not going to force him in, and you're not going to just throw him to the wolves just because he's a number one overall pick. So did they set it up right? Of course. And I think that's definitely a good way of putting it, or at least setting it up. Sorry. But man, I hope he answers the questions that I got.
Yeah,
and me too. I'm not going to back away from that. A lot of people will probably sit there and go, oh, see, we drafted him, so he's the answer. No. All I got to do is point to the 50 million other draft picks that we have had that have not worked out. And so just because you drafted him doesn't mean he's going to be the guy, but I hope he is.
Absolutely.
For the fan base, for us as Raider fans, for all the younger generation fans, like I want them to be able to grow up. I mean, shit, I raised 3 kids. I raised 3 kids as Raider fans. All I want is for them to win, because I can no longer, have to fight them to have to go and watch a Raider game. So, what up, Rebel? What's going on? Shout out.
What up, Jeff?
Drive bologna sandwich, Jeff. Appreciate you throwing the super chat out there.
Yeah. I remember saying that. It was a lot of shots I had. There was a lot of shots, but yeah.
Shots, and man, we had some drinks.
Yeah. It was fun. Dry bologna sandwich, bro. But hey, it is what it is. Dry bologna sandwiches can quench your hunger, man. So salute, man. Let's go, Mendoza. Let's get it.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we all, whether you want him or not, we all want him to do well. We want him to be the Hall of Famer that a lot of people think he could potentially be. Let's rock out. Let's have some fun. And even that we have Mendoza, I've said this before, I'm sitting back and enjoying next year. even if Mendoza all of a sudden, maybe it's like week 10, he starts playing, I'm not going to judge him based off of those games that he played, right? He's a rookie. There's going to be a learning curve. He's going to have to take at least a full season, even a season and a half, to just understand the game at the NFL level. And I'm going to sit back and enjoy, and you're not going to hear the whole I told you so's if he plays, 5-6 games. So we're going to have fun. We're going to enjoy it. Hey, let's hope Fernando Mendoza just absolutely balls out. So, shout to everybody. Yeah, I Panda. Hey, I'll take a dry bone.
Hey, it is what it is, man. Hey, by the end of the year, we'll give him some mustard. But the thing with, one thing about the Mendoza pick that I did like while we were there is like just how other fan bases, just kind of their perception of the pick and just kind of how they like we would be walking and they're like happy for us, like the other fan bases. So that's cool, man. At the end of the day, like I said, I know we were kind of known as a channel that kind of pushed back more than others. But again, we don't hate the kid. Again, he's a Raider. We're rocking hard with him. We were just calling out some red flags, just like I was calling out things about Tyree Wilson, and people thought I was crazy. So I just hope it works out. But it was real cool just to see other fan bases really just kind of excited for us because like you guys finally got a quarterback. So I hope that's the case.
Yeah. And you know what? Hey, shout out to Don.
Don's a real one.
Okay, so just
Don's a real one.
Don's a real one. Jeff's cool. Jeff's cool.
We like Don way better than Jeff, for real.
Don's a real one. Man, she was out there. She was not only supporting Jeff and everything that he's doing at the same time. I mean, she's probably one of the coolest ladies I've ever met. I mean, down to earth, was always around, helping out anywhere she could, but at the same time, Jeff, you cool, but we prefer
Don's better, bro.
Just
if you had to choose one, you're out of here.
Yeah,
man.
Sorry. And so, but shout out to you, Jeff. Appreciate you. All right, so let's get to the second one. All right, second pick of the draft. Trading Stooks. Oh man. Okay. So look, initial reaction, because obviously what was left on the board, and there was another safety that I liked that was on the board, but we went with Treydon Stooks, and I think at least the group of us, we were definitely just a little shocked because he wasn't necessarily on my radar because I thought maybe a safety a little bit later in the draft around round 3. But Chris, now that it's kind of settled in, what's your thoughts in chat? Let us know what your thoughts on Treydon Stooks. What's your thoughts on this pick, man?
Man, so I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it all the way funky, man. When we got Stooks, I was sick with it. Live, I was sick with it. And I'm not even now, I'm not saying that I'm super excited, but just being able to look more into him. I mean, he has the ability. It's not like I don't dislike him as a player. It was just other people on the board that I just thought could help the team a little bit more. But really when you watch him, I mean, the kid can play. I mean, I do have some questions. I know he came off a bad injury, I think a couple years ago. I think he's a little bit older as well. But and tackling is a little rough. But I mean, he gets to the ball. He gets after it. He has some pretty good speed, pretty athletic. So he brings a lot to the table. So as long as he works out and be able to, solidify to that safety position and slot or whatever, however they're going to use him, because he does have some flexibility and some range. So I do like that. So as long as he can kind of develop into, what we think he can be, I'll be all right with it. But again, I can't lie, with some of the people that's on the board at that time, it was tough to kind of digest that one. But salute to him, man.
Yeah. So again, like we said initially, we're just a little surprised, right? Because again, he wasn't on my radar. The safeties that I like was Kamari Ramsey at a USC. Yeah. He ended up going, I believe, in the 4th.
Yeah,
round.
it was way like, you were surprised how late he went. Yeah.
AJ Halsey was another guy I really liked. He ended up going late in the 3rd. So, I almost felt like initially, this is my initial thought, was, man, like you could have gotten a true number one receiver, maybe even a D tackle if that's where we wanted to go. And at the very end, we're going to talk about one of our existing players that moved around a little bit. But I just thought that there could be better value there as a true starter and still be able to get a starting safety in the later round. So that was my initial thought. But then you kind of go to the game film, right? And you go to the game film and you sit there and go, damn, this kid is a dog. Like, this kid can ball. And the more and more I watched him, I said, okay, I'm okay with it, because for those first 3 rounds, we're already about to get to the other picks in round 3, but the first 3 rounds, you want bona fide starters. We were the first pick in the NFL draft, which means we were the worst team last year, right? So you have a lot of needs on this roster. So at the end of the day, through the first 3 rounds, you want to get some bona fide starters. And I think in this case, he's a bona fide starter. He's going to come in. He's going to start day one. He's going to play free safety. You let Isaiah Polamau and Jeremy Chin maybe play more towards the line of scrimmage. They can kind of move around a little bit. And so because he wasn't on my radar at the time we picked him, did a little more research, and at the end of the day, I think he's going to be a day one starter. So I'm okay with the pick.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the pick. And I hope that he comes out and he balls for sure. And so, yeah, DJ saying Stooks was my favorite pick. Chewy, what's going on, man? We're going to talk about Lucky Tassi here in just a second. SoCal, Ramsey went in the 5th round. Yeah, I mean, he went late. And I think Kamari Ramsey could have been a day one starter, AJ Hulsey, but Stooks, man, I think he could be a baller day one starter. So try to trust the process a little bit and rock out. So anything to end with that, Chris, before you get to the next one?
No, I think you hit it spot on. Again, I think a lot of these picks, it was, some were surprised, but I think once you really got a chance to kind of dig into their production and just them on the grass, you can see the long-term vision at the end of the day.
Yeah. And the one thing I will say is we want to get at least a little bit of a pattern of what Spytek likes to do and how is he drafting, right? And I'll be honest, we're going to get to these next picks. And I think you're starting to get a little bit of an idea of who's John's
style. Yeah, his style.
So look at what we drafted last year. And based on, type of players and where we got them this year, I think you're starting to get a little bit of a trend. And we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Let's get to the next one. All right. Third round, we end up getting Kieron Crawford, edge out of Auburn. I'll be honest, for myself, this was an absolute shocker. And it still is. I'm really curious what this actually means, because again, I'm a firm believer. Rounds 1 through 3, I want day one starters.
Yeah.
I want guys are going to impact right away, and they're going to set themselves in a starting position. And we are the worst team in the NFL, so we have plenty of positions to fulfill. So, Chris, chat, let us know what your thoughts are on Kieron Crawford. But Chris, what's your thoughts, man?
Yeah, that was tough, man. Especially with we have Quiddy, we still have Kuntz, of course, Max. He's gonna be a rotational guy, because honestly, like I think he's he's definitely a pass rush specialist. As far as being able to defend the run, he's not really the best at the run, of course, but there was other people out there on the board. I mean, I know probably the plan was always to get rid of Tyree Wilson. So, I mean, I'm sure they had that in the back of their mind. But, if we're talking about, someone in the first 3 rounds, man, like I want them and expect them to be starting. So, and even next year, I know Kuntz probably won't be with us, but even next year, will he be a bona fide starter? I don't know. That's we have to see. But, that I will admit this is probably the pick I liked probably the least, to be quite honest. Like, he has skills, pass rush specialist, but what we need, I think we could have went other places, especially at receiver.
So, and I think that's kind of where we kind of look at, right? First 3 rounds, I'd love for us to get day one starters, bona fide starters. Kieran Crawford, he's going to be at best a rotational piece. Yes, we're Tyree. We're going to talk about Tyree in just a second. But you went and got Kwity Paye on a 3-year deal.
Right.
At maxxcrosby. Right. Here's my only thing. You attempted to trade maxxcrosby. Now, the only way that this would semi make sense in the 3rd round to me is in 2 things. One, are you still looking to trade Max at some point during this season?
Right.
And then maybe he comes in and he becomes the starter and the replacement for maxxcrosby. If that goes down, then maybe that makes sense.
Makes a little more sense. Yeah. Yeah.
And because ultimately, I'm not exactly sure why you go after a rotational piece, even though, yes, Malcolm Koonce. And look, I like the player. I think he's a really good piece to develop. Like you, Chris, you were saying, I think he needs to improve a little bit on his run stuffing ability. I think pass rushing, I think he excels there, but I think he's still a developmental player. And so at the end of the day, you got a developmental player in the 3rd round where you had, if you want a developmental player, look, Max Llewellyn that went in the 7th, I would have taken him in a heartbeat as a developmental player out of Iowa. But this feels like are you going to try to move on from Max and he fills the spot? Okay, then this makes a little more sense. But if he truly is just a rotational piece, and then maybe when you move on from Malcolm Koonce, he slides in there, but then he's still somewhat of a backup because you have Kwity Paye on a 3-year contract. And I guess the other question mark that I have, and I just don't understand why, you brought Malcolm Koonce back. You brought Charles Snowden back. You brought Kwity Paye in the building. So why not address another need when you had guys like Chris Brazel, Ted Hurst right behind them, and you could have got a day one starter at the receiver position? I want to see how this plays out. And at the very end, we'll kind of give our grades of the overall draft. But this is definitely a pick. I got to see how it plays out, because if he is truly just a rotational piece and that's what he sits in.
Oh, we whiffed.
I don't know why you got him.
Yeah.
And then you have other players that maybe were on other people's radar, again, like some receivers, and they go somewhere and ball, and our receivers don't do well. So this one is just weird to me. Again, I'm not knocking the player. I'm just trying to figure out, are we really just trying to get backups or preparing for the future maybe with this pick? So any thoughts on that, Chris?
No, I mean, you're absolutely right. Like I said, I mean, regardless of how you feel about Koonce, because people still kind of wonder about Koonce. But even last year, I think towards the end, Koonce started kind of showing that he was getting back into form. So, and again, Koonce is still playing with Robbie Leonard. So, it's just surprising, man, because, like you said, the same skill set as Koonce has and Trey Snowden has is kind of like what he has. So, just interesting, man, when there was other guys that I believe could be day one starters. So, I hope he does well, but I'm definitely going to be watching him closely because, again, if he's just going to be a rotational guy all year, and I see some of these other guys that were on the board in a position of need, ball out and contribute year one, it's going to be tough.
I'm with you. So, and that's where it's like, damn, like you kind of set yourself up a little bit to where if this pick doesn't work out, but others behind him that end up working out with other teams, we're gonna play that game again of, well, shit, we should have picked this guy. So again, it's not a knock on the player. It's just trying to understand what direction are they going in with him, because right now he just looks like a rotational piece. So shout out to everybody again. Appreciate y'all. What up, Rose Town? What's going on, man?
Rose Town, what's happening?
So let's get to the next one. All right. So we go ahead. We pick another player in the 3rd round. We go with Trey Zune in the 3rd round. That kind of ends off day 2. I know for myself, it was kind of a little bit of a shocker, right? You draft a center / guard. Again, day 3rd round, you want bona fide starters. So it's trying to figure out, where's the direction? Where are we going here? And so, chat, let us know what your thoughts are on Trey Zune. I'll try to pick it up on the screen. But, Chris, I'm going to throw it to you, man. Thoughts on Trey Zune?
Yeah, he was another guy, like, when it was first mentioned, I didn't know much about him, so I was upset. I really was. Again, but, kinda watching some of his film, and I actually like this pick, man. I really like this pick. I think his versatility is great, but the thing is he's disciplined. I believe the last 2 years, he hasn't had no penalties. I mean, our offensive linemen, I mean, like, you think about, when we had, gosh, what's the dude that went to the Giants?
Illuminor.
Yeah, like Illuminor, you think about, even Parham, or Andre, you think about those guys. It's like they were just a walking penalty, man. So, and it's always at the wrong time as well. So just having a guy that's his technique is pretty good. So he's technically sound. Played, I think he was a 4-year starter, if I remember right. I think he was a 4-year starter at Texas A&M. Has good feet, pretty athletic for his size. I think his run blocking was a little to be desired, but I think it could get there. But honestly, now he's a guy that I feel that can come in and be a day one starter. I'm not sure, maybe left guard, I imagine. But yeah, he's a guy that I feel good about, so I feel a lot better. But again, I wasn't happy at the time, but I feel good about him.
Yeah. Jack's ready saying Zoom can play any position on the O-line. He can. He played all the positions. To me, the more and more I watch him on film, I think he is truly an interior guy.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
When I watch on film, his feet can become kind of sloppy when he goes against speed rushers. And sometimes
he can move, though. To be as big as he is, he can move.
Yeah,
you're right, though. The footwork is – I get what you're saying, though.
And just his ability sometimes to get to the second level off of the edge, I think, is just a little bit slow at times. And but if he plays just truly on the interior, I think he could be. I think he's got a lot of potential. So again, my take is not going to be necessarily on the player because I do think he has a lot of potential. But I'll get into that in just a second. But Rebel, I think you're saying they traded Tyree. That's his replacement. You don't know what Crosby is going to be from here on out with the knee. I'm with you. I wouldn't disagree with you because obviously Kuntz is on 1 year. But the problem is, man, like if Kuntz is looked up as a rotational piece, you just drafted a rotational piece in the third.
Right.
Plenty of starting caliber players kind of in that spot. So that's the question mark I have. I got to see the Crawford pick just play out.
And plus, I mean, just like Rebel just said, I mean, he's Tyree's replacement. Tyree was coming off the bench. He was a rotational player. I mean, Tyree wasn't going to be a starter. So no matter how you shake it, the guy is going to be a rotational guy. And it's like, I would like to see, a starter right there.
So again, with this Zune pick, what's really tough for me is you have JPJ, which is a second round guard. We got him in the second round. Now, it's not this regime. This is not Spytek's regime. Right. And they kind of messed around with him. Obviously, we think that's Pete Carroll, Brendan Carroll. They were messing around with JPJ, right? Yeah. But was Spytek a part of that at all? Like, was he okay with it a little bit? Because he went out in the third round and got Caleb Rogers. So you went and got Caleb Rogers. So you saw something in him that possibly gives you starting guard material. Because again, you got him in the third round. You traded back. You didn't address the offensive line position up until the third round. Like, you traded back multiple times and you still got Caleb Rogers. So if you're not going to be replacing JPJ, then are you replacing Caleb Rogers? And now you're just basically saying you missed on Caleb Rogers and now he's a backup.
Good point.
I have to see how this pick plays out because I do think he has the potential to start on this offensive line. Yeah. But then who is he replacing?
Yeah, that's actually a hell of a point because if he's taking over for Rodgers, then it's like you got to admit that you were wrong last year. And GMs don't like doing that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think Jack Bech is going to get some run because, hey, I got him in the second round. I got to show that I made the right pick. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. That definitely will.
And look, I'm not saying that it's bad if he missed, right? But at the same time, that's not a good look, if you miss. But I also would respect him at the end of the day that if you went ahead and you moved on from Caleb Rogers because you just did not think he was the guy, you kind of see the writing on the wall, and bang, you take Trey Zune, you put him in there, and our offensive line looks really good. Then very quickly we're going to kind of forget about Caleb Rogers a little bit, right? But that's just my question. Again, you want bona fide starters day 3, or I'm sorry, through the first 3 rounds, and you got Keon Crawford that we just don't know what he's going to be. Is he a rotational piece? There's a lot of starting caliber talent on the board. Now you got Trey Zune. I think he could be a starting caliber guard, but then does he end up being a backup? And if he's just a backup, I hope we didn't draft a backup in round 3. So I think round 3 was it's full of question marks. So it's hard for me to kind of grade exactly what these guys are going to become and what the pick looks like, because I don't know what the intention is of these guys. So anything else on that, Chris?
No, I agree. I mean, I'm pretty much spot on there. Like I said, it's going to definitely be some question marks. Like I said, I feel much better about Zoom than what's his name, than the defensive end, than Crawford for sure. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But I did want to respond to a comment real quick. It was let's see, my guy Xavier. Yeah, so he was saying, we're not used to having depth. Actual competition is going to happen, and for sure, like, I'm all about competition. But my thing is, we have so many holes. Like, you gotta fill the hole first. You know what I'm saying? You gotta plug the hole. Pause. Before you do anything, before you can even get depth. That's my thing. So again, I absolutely love depth, but like some of those better teams, when you already have all your starters in place, that's when you can start building your depth. But we got too many holes in our first team, on our starters to really think about depth. At least I think that. At least, for the 3rd round, I need someone that can, fill one of those other holes that can start on day 1. But I get what you're saying, Xavier.
Yeah. And look, all of us kind of are. I know I've said it plenty of times. I'm a massive building the trenches guy. And so if they're just building this thing and creating the competition, this can ultimately turn into one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. Okay, then let's rock. I know one thing that we didn't address was the right tackle. So are they cool with DJ Glaze?
Right.
Because we didn't necessarily bring in any right tackles in free agency. And so
we got Brandon Parker's nephew that we drafted last year, the Severe's boy. But
well, this guy's boy.
Yeah.
So again, that's what for me, I'm just really curious what this is going to turn into. And so we'll see if it's depth in the 3rd round is a struggle for me. But one thing I will say, and I'll end it with this, we did break down a lot of film of JPJ, and we also did break down a lot of mistakes that we saw JPJ kind of making throughout the season.
Yeah.
And so it's not, I wouldn't be surprised if, again, JPJ is not part of SpyTek's draft classes. Maybe they are thinking about maybe either placing that competition and he takes JPJ's spot, or JPJ's on the trading block at some point. Who knows? But we'll see. Cheetah, where am I reaching? I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Get your merch link out of here. God damn. Shout out to you, big dog. Okay. And Dre, yeah, the Charles Grant. We'll say his name for Severe building. All right, next one. Let's get to the next one. All right. Now we start out round 4.
Yeah, day 3. Day 3, we're cooking.
And we go with Drod McCoy. Shout out to Severe, man. Definitely when this pick happened, Severe was all about it.
He called it. Yeah, he called it early.
For sure. And so, chat, let us know what your thoughts are on Drod McCoy. Chris, give me your thoughts. How you feeling about this kid?
Yeah, man. So yeah, coming into day 3. Yeah, we needed a pick like this, to be quite honest. You saw that we Traded up to get him, traded up one spot. So it had to be someone they felt very highly on. And this kid can straight ball, to be honest. Everybody knows, he was All-American. He had a hell of a 2024 season. Physical, he could play. I mean, just man coverage, instinct. I mean, he got every, speed. I guess even I didn't realize, I guess even after the surgery, I think he still ran like a 4.3 at his pro day. And that's and that's after the issues. So again, I think the thing is, I think he'll be able to be fine as far as like from his injury initially. I just don't know how long his knee's gonna hold up, because from what I hear is it's something that can get worse over time. But I think for a 4th round guy, with pretty good size, speed, anticipation, you can't beat that, man. You can't beat that. If he's healthy, you got a starter right there in the 4th round. That's all there is to it. So I definitely like that pick.
DJ, how early did Severe call the pick? I mean, I think it was probably going into that day, because it was the first pick of day 3. And so Severe was saying, like, he wanted that player before the draft started.
Yeah, because I think we were all kind of like a little upset, after day 2, or I'll say uneasy. And I think he was like, man, the only thing that make us feel better, or that will make up for it, is if we got McCoy. So he said it pretty early. So salute to Severe on that, man.
Yeah. Now look, it's felt like a sip of water in the desert at the time. So when the medical came out, like I agree, he's an absolute dog. Like this kid can ball, stay healthy, bro. You got yourself a number 1 corner without question.
Without question.
Easily could be the best corner coming out of this draft, right? But then you got that asterisk of, can he stay healthy?
Yeah.
So you either got damn near a bona fide number 1 corner, or you have an absolute worthless 4th round pick. Now I understand the risk, because
it's working for me. Yeah.
This is just, it kind of goes back to the 2 previous picks. If we would have gotten bona fide starters, if you got Fernando, which is the future, you got Trayvon Stukes, which is a bona fide starter. If you would have gotten 2 more starters, I believe, in my opinion, this is where you can definitely take the risk, because you got 4 starters day 1, and now you take the risk. If for some reason he doesn't work, and again, I'm not trying to be half glass full or half empty. Sorry. It's just, it feels like when I heard about the medical situation, if he does have to get surgery, I heard some doctor talk about the fact that there could be a 25-30% chance that he doesn't recover well from it.
I saw that.
He doesn't recover well,
I saw that.
He's done. And so if he does have to get the surgery and it doesn't recover, man, and the previous 2 picks don't work, that's a tough one. And so I think I heard that he's basically leaving it up to the Raiders whether or not
what their staff say.
Surgery. So again, this is when you talk about kind of grading the pick. If you just grade the pick in itself, I think it's great value in the 4th.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? But then at this point, then, man, you better sure shit these last 2 picks work out.
Yeah.
But on the surface, I think it's great value, great upside, a little bit of high risk, but man, the reward can be top of the line. So love the player. I just hope at the end of the day, the injury is clear and we're rocking out with them. But it definitely looks like the chat definitely likes the pick for sure.
Yeah, I think I think I heard what was Kurt Morrison. I think he said it probably best, man. He was like, you could potentially get like a what do you say, like a Nnamdi Asomugha for the price of a what do you say, like Jacorian Bennett, or a like a who was another like 4th round guy that we got, like Jacorian Bennett, or what was the little short guy we had that went to Detroit.
Robertson.
Yeah, like a Meek. He was like, hey, you could potentially have a Nnamdi type corner for a Meek Robinson budget. So, if it hits, it hits, man. So we'll see.
100%. You know, and I think a lot of this draft is kind of how is it going to play out?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the feeling I'm getting with this almost this entire draft. Outside of a couple picks, I do like the trade on Stooks. I think he's day one starter, and I think he's going to ball. But I think a lot of these other picks are like, man, there's another one I like, but it's like, just how do these guys play out? So
yeah, and honestly, and it also seems that SpyTek, you know, because us fans, we want to see kind of like that immediate impact, because you know we automatically are looking like, hey, year one, we want to see at least 3 starters from this draft. It's almost like SpyTek is actually more forward thinking, like he's thinking, you know, 2 years out, which I mean is fine, but at the end of the day, you know, us Raider fans, we don't even know SpyTek's gonna be around that long, because we've seen so many GMs come and go. So you know, it's all about trusting the process, which is hard for us to digest at times, but you're right though. It's a lot of wait and see. We got to see how it plays out.
Yeah, and if you look at the way that SpyTek drafted last year,
right,
he kind of did a lot of that as well. And this is where I'm trying to, like, again, I'm just trying to get an understanding of who SpyTek is and how is he drafting, right? You went and got Charles Grant. I'm sorry. Let's start with Jack Besh. Jack Besh was a former tight end. He only had 1 year as a receiver.
yeah.
So there was going to be a development plan there, because
Yeah.
again, he was a former tight end and you got him in the second round. So he better start day one as a receiver. But because he was a transfer tight end and only had 1 year as a receiver, there's going to be a development there. But you got him in the second round. Then you get Severe's guy, Charles Grant. Charles Grant, small school, developmental guy, right?
Yeah.
And then, my bad, even before that, then you get Darian Porter. Darian Porter was a developmental guy because he was a former receiver and only had 1 year experience as a corner.
Yeah.
And you're getting him early too. And so you're starting to see a trend now that he's getting guys that maybe need to develop.
Right.
And at what point are you going to kind of get these, like, the guy?
Get them going. Yeah.
So,
because a lot of this depends on the coaching. You know, like if you really think about it, like, you know, these coaches are going to have to get the most out of those year 2 guys, like the Charles Grants and the Rodgers. Like they're going to have to, I mean, Besh, I mean, all those second year guys and even the third year guys from the year before, those guys are going to have to start taking a leap. And that's all about the development. So a lot of this is on the coaching as well, you know, so we'll see.
Yeah, we will see. Shout out to you, John Fellon, man. We're going to get to the next pick. Shout out to everybody, man. Appreciate you guys rocking with us. Let's get to the next one. Mike Washington Jr. Chat, let us know. I'll pull up on the screen what your thoughts are of Mike Washington Jr. And I'm easy. You're saying SpyTek likes the high Ross guys. Does seem like that. So, Chris, man, I'm going to throw it to you. Thoughts on Mike Washington Jr. basically getting that rotational role with Genty?
I mean, yeah, the potential's there, you know, with the speed, you know, he runs pretty, you know, he runs strong. You know, I think, you know, everyone's talking about like kind of the thunder and lightning with the pairing of him and Genty. You know, I think, you know, one thing is kind of worried about, I think he has some fumbling issues. So, you know, that's always going to be an issue. But I mean, the guy runs hard, you know, he has a speed. He kind of reminds me, I mean, because, you know, we know that he kind of he does lack vision. He almost reminds me of a Justin Fargas in a way. His game kind of reminds me of Justin Fargas. And I love Fargas, but like Fargas used to irritate me because of some of those the issues with the instinct and the vision. But you know, someone that's that explosive with that speed, got the size, you know, can catch the ball. You know, that's somebody that can be, you know, a good change of pace guy. So round 4, you know, I say the pick's pretty good. But again, you know, when you pick a guy like Genty, 6 overall, it's like you expect him to be the workhorse, you know, like you expect him to be the guy. So you know, round 4 for, you know, another running back, because there's a couple other guys on the board, but I'm not mad at this pick at all. I think he can bring some value to us.
I'm with you. So I'll start out by saying I definitely want us to get another running back in this draft that can basically complement Genty, do things that Genty can't do. Now, the one thing this guy can do is he's going to take off on you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Once he's loose, he's gone, right? That 4.3 speed is pretty true. But the one thing I felt we needed was a true short yardage back. This guy isn't necessarily like a true short yardage back. The one thing that when I watch this film, he does tend to run upright quite a bit. And even the carries that I saw on the goal line, it's not like he's lowering his head and moving the piles, right? He still just seems a little upright. Now, we're not going to talk about UDFAs, but we did get Roman Hemby, which who knows how he's going to play in this backfield. But I'm actually with you, Chris, when it comes to the vision. I don't think his vision's great. It's not bad, but it's not great. You do see some cutbacks at times, but he's also not quick twitch. So
no,
there's plenty of times where if a safety has a decent angle on him, he ain't going to juke that safety too much. Like, he just doesn't have that part in him too much. I'm not saying it's horrible, but
that's where I get the Fargus from. It's like that straight line speed he has. Yeah, but yeah, like you said, as far as like being super, agile, going to make someone miss at the NFL level, I'm not sure.
But I will say, like, once you get this guy a lane and he gets his speed underneath him,
oh, he out of there.
He's got a lane because the way that he kind of runs, again, it's not quick twitch, but he kind of flows. And if he can kind of get into open space and he's just got one man to beat, but he's got the angle to the sideline,
he's out of there.
Oh, he could take off. And so, again, it probably wasn't going to be the running back that I wanted because, again, Chris, to your point, taking a running back that early when you have a running back number 6 overall, you want to get just more value. But based on Kubiak's system, I think oh shit, I'm actually just reading it a little bit. Or Severe, you're saying one thing he can't, he can do that Genty can't is reach the glass cups.
Latavius Murray's a good. That's a good
actually,
one.
I was going to pick that one up.
Yeah, that's a good one as well.
Good.
Yeah.
No, I think he was faster than Latavius Murray.
Yeah, he's faster.
Latavius Murray wasn't that fast, but very similar running style, I think.
Yeah.
Good comparison.
Yep.
But I'll be honest. If our offensive line improves, this might be a very, very bold take. You ready for this bold take?
Uh-oh.
If this offensive line improves and starts opening up holes for the running backs a little bit more, I think that there's a good chance that this kid could either match or rush for more than Genty, even with less carries.
I mean, he has that home run potential. We haven't had this type of potential since, or at least home run potential since Darren. So.
It could be 60-40. I don't know what the split's going to be, but if he does anything like he did in Seattle, it could be 60-40. But with his home run hitting ability,
right,
this kid could take off.
Right, yeah, because
and where he may only get 8 carries and Genty gets 16.
Yeah, he might bust for a 30-yard run. Yeah.
So, again, it's a bold take. All right.
Yeah.
So, again,
they're going to hold you to it, too. They're going to hold you to it.
But I'm just saying, like, just with his breakaway speed and his ability, Severe saying Latavius was a 4.3 guy. Oh, shit.
Yeah, I'm about to say, he was pretty fast.
My bad.
I think Latavius may have been a little bigger, or maybe, he may be a little taller. Yep. But that's why I say, because I think Fargus was a 4.3 guy as well. So that's why, like, all those guys, kind of bigger backs, have that straight line speed. So I see it.
And the issue that I had well before we drafted Genty was Genty's ability to transfer to the NFL and adjust to the speed of the NFL. And when we would showcase him running, that was a real concern all season long, because even when the hole was there, it's like he just didn't see it in time. And so this kid's come from the SEC.
Yeah.
So as much as it's still a big jump from the SEC to the NFL, Mountain West to the NFL is a much bigger jump.
Right.
This kid is just going to be, I think he still has to get adjusted to the speed of the NFL, but I think his comfort level might be a little bit better than what Genty had coming in. So if Genty improves, his vision and gets used to the speed of the NFL, okay, yes, he's definitely going to get better. But if this kid rips off, 1 or 2 runs a game, one for 30, one for 65 or what have you, bang, bro, he's already at 90.
Yeah.
And where Genty, yes, he breaks a lot of tackles, but he also is going to break 4 or 5 tackles before he gets 5 yards sometimes. So, and he just doesn't have that breakaway speed. So we'll see. Again, it's a bold take. So yes, the chat's going to hold me to it, but I just think there's a good chance this kid can produce a lot, even with less carries than Genty. So, all right, moving on. Before the next pick happened, good old Tyree Wilson goes ahead, gets traded. We give up a 7th rounder and Tyree. I believe we got a 5th rounder.
Yeah.
For Tyree. So
yeah,
Tyree is officially no longer a Raider. Definitely something that we have been saying for a while. That, man, if you could trade him away, shout out to Spytek for at least getting something from him. But Jeff, man, shout out to you. Oh, you said okay. You said that. You said that last night. I'm guessing you're thinking about Mike Washington Jr. So it's a bold take. I get it. But we'll see how it plays out. But Jeff, appreciate you. All right, so chat, let us know what your just reaction was when you heard Tyree Wilson was traded away. So Chris, man, I'm gonna throw it to you. Thoughts, Tyree Wilson and him out the building.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is what it is. I mean, we knew he didn't bring much to the table. I know people try to act like he was finally, getting it together last year, but when he, he made most of his plays when he was unblocked. I mean, the kid, man, and again, I won't. A lot of people kind of use it as a cop out, like, hey, it's not his fault. He's a bust. He shouldn't have got drafted where he did, which is true. But there's certain things that is like it's 100% on him. Like when you his biggest issue was like he just didn't have the drive. You could tell he didn't have the work ethic. Like when you literally have the best mentor you could possibly have in the locker room, and you didn't take advantage of it. And the thing is, and Max, you could tell Max kind of subliminally called him out a couple times, I think, on the show, talking about guys not, staying late and coming early and things like that. And you could tell they're talking about him. I mean, he just doesn't have that drive. I mean, you look at him, he's the last one coming off the line, getting the ball. That's stuff you learn in Little League, man. I mean, that's literally stuff you learn. When you see the ball move, you go. Like, why are you always the last one coming off the line? Like little stuff like that, man. It's just, he just does not have what it takes to be a high-level pro. I mean, I'm glad we got whatever we got for him, but it was time for him to go because he was taking reps from Trey Snowden, undrafted guy that at least got after it, at least gave it his all every play. So I wish him the best, but it was time to go.
Yeah, and look, we want players to work out. At the end of the day, as soon as we draft them. And this is just an example of sometimes the GMs, man, they just miss, and one of the things that I was able to say when I first started my channel in 2023 was there were so many concerns with Tyree Wilson. If you just go back and look at his college tape, he had a bull rush. That was it.
That was it.
And at the time, his good plays were because the offense was making a mistake. It wasn't him actually earning the play, right? It was literally the offense was making a mistake because he played in such a he was a men amongst boys. He played at Texas Tech, right? And so he wasn't playing against the top competition in college football. And so a lot of times teams would literally RPO him. They would basically let him go. And then because the quarterback made a mistake, didn't hand it off properly, didn't read it right, then he all of a sudden make a play. So a lot of his highlights were because the offense made mistakes. But then he just had a bull rush and he didn't develop anything else. And then when you watch him actually play, you're sitting there going, damn, is this kid even motivated to want to be good at football? Like that was one of my biggest concerns was I just didn't see any emotion. And I said this when I made my first video, when I started my channel. I believe it was like my 11th video because I had to get my Tyree take in. I had to. It was when Amik Robertson, I believe it was, picked off the ball against the Lions, I think it was, or the Giants. It was a team with blue. He picked it off and ran it back for a touchdown. Tyree Wilson was the edge rusher on that side. And when Amik Robertson ran it in for a touchdown, you see the entire defense go and celebrate in the end zone like everybody does. Guess who wasn't there?
Right.
Tyree Wilson. Tyree Wilson, closest player to him, did not run to the end zone to celebrate with his player. And that was my first indication of, holy shit, is this kid just emotionless? And I started to kind of pay attention to watch. And every time I watch him play, I'm sitting there going, damn, I don't even know if this kid wants to be great.
No.
And I think that's what his problem was.
Yeah.
And so, for me, at the end of the day, I think it was good to get rid of him. And it's good for him to get a fresh start. Go somewhere else. You do you, right? And John Spytek, he moved up a little bit to get a little bit of draft capital. We again moved around and still got ourselves a 7th. And so ultimately we didn't lose much at all. And we did gain a little bit of or improvement on our pick. So Tyree Wilson out the building. Good luck to you. But at the end of the day, didn't work out.
Yeah. Real quick, though, I want to address M Easy. So he says you have no proof to say he doesn't have work ethic. He just wasn't that good. It's not that, not the work ethic, but he has no drive. He has no dog in him. It's like he doesn't have that, like 805, he doesn't have that want. So maybe if you want to say work ethic, I don't know. But the guys that do have work ethic have that drive, So it's just like the things that people that with work ethic have, Tyree lacks. So yeah, you're right. Like I don't know what he's doing behind the scenes, but I can tell that just the way that his motor is and just the want to be good, I don't see it. So I contribute that to work ethic myself. But again, I'm not going to say I know what he does in the weight room and all that stuff. But on the field, he doesn't seem like a guy that gets after it. He doesn't seem like a guy that just loves the ball, that has a high motor. So that's more or less what I'm getting to.
And I agree 100% with what you're saying. Like, we can't prove they didn't have the work ethic, but yeah, it was maybe the drive. And I just gave you an example of literally what I saw in film of a kid that literally just did not go celebrate his team. So it's just like emotionally he wasn't in it.
Right.
And how you weren't in it. You know what I'm saying? And so that was just a sign for me. And, who knows? Again, good luck to him as he moves on.
Right. And like just someone like Trey Snowden, like I have no question about his work ethic. Because you see him flying around, and again, he was a UDFA, So it's, to me, it certain things just pop out on the film for me.
Yeah. And then Chris, did you start this other one?
Yeah. Which one?
I could bring it up. This one.
Oh yeah. So yeah, and that's another thing. I won't say he necessarily blamed us for him getting traded, but I mean he kind of made it seem like it was a mutual decision. Like he wanted a change of scenery and all that, which I understand. Because probably being in a room with maxxcrosby when you have a weak work ethic and you don't have drive, it's probably going to make you uncomfortable. So I get it. You probably don't want to be there when the guy that they want you to be working out with and be the Robin to his Batman, when he's the first one there and last one out. If you don't want to do that stuff and people want you to do that stuff, it's going to make you uncomfortable. So yeah, I bet you didn't want to be there.
Yeah. So we'll see how it plays out for him. But ultimately, at the end of the day, he's no longer a Raider. We'll see how it plays out. I'm seeing some back and forth. I'm seeing between I think maybe Jeff is in here. I know Cheeto's coming about with Money Chuck, and hey, Money Chuck, I know you're talking about Genty's big playability at Boise. Mountain West, big dog, Mountain West. If you don't know the difference between the talent in the Mountain West and the jump to the NFL and just think that big playability is just going to transfer, then go hang out with your small school. Like, I don't know what to tell you. And so we'll leave it there. And I know he's going to get at me, but have fun, Money Chuck. Okay. Next one, Dalton Johnson. He joins his teammate Traydon Stukes with the Raiders. So watched a little bit of his game film, and the kid looks like he is his own little ball hawk. I think when you watch his game film, I think he's a sure tackler. But shout out to our guy Dante. Basically, he was saying he was kind of their third safety. You know what I'm saying? And so, well, when you watch his game film, it's really hard because I hate just watching highlights. And that's the hard part is I want to go and watch just kind of how you looked outside of the highlights, right? And so, but you get yourself another safety. I want to see how this thing plays out. But Chris, I'm gonna let you go for it, man. What's your thoughts on Dalton Johnson? And chat, let us know what your thoughts on this one as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still kind of questionable for me. I mean, the guy, he did make, quite a few tackles. But like, I think he's about, I think 192 pounds. So kind of a little smaller for a safety. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I wasn't too thrilled about this one. He's going to be a guy that, I don't know, just getting another safety. I wasn't a big fan. I feel like, because especially at this point in time, we were still looking for a receiver. We still hadn't addressed a receiver. Yes, haven't addressed the defensive tackle. So it was like, again, this seemed like it was a depth pickup because, again, we don't know how they feel about Palomar. We don't know how they feel about Jeremy Chin. But again, just getting a guy that we know is not going to get playing time early on. Just tough for me.
I know, and again, it's just a follow-up, right? Like, I think this would be a much better pick if we got some day one
starters. Yep.
If Crawford was truly a day one starter and Zune was a day one, again, we have to see how those guys play out and what the intention is of those guys. But based on what you did in free agency, you already got your starters. And what you did in the draft last year with Caleb Rogers, like, you already have your starters in just the way it looks.
Future. So, yeah.
It's like, I'm just trying to figure out how are we going to fulfill this roster with the amount of picks that we have, right? A lot of people said, hey, man, we got 10 picks in this draft. We got 10 picks, man. We are going to get talent. I'm sitting there going, okay. But right now, we still have a lot of question marks with this receiver room. You didn't address it properly. You even let Jacoby Myers walk out the building knowing that you're left with Jack Besh and Deontay Thornton. Yes, we got Jalen Naylor, or we'll see how that works out, but we can all agree Jalen Naylor just I don't think he's number one.
No,
so this is just to me another pick. You double up on safety, and maybe he's a rotational piece, a really good special teams player. I think he can contribute day one in special teams. But then is he a backup rotational piece?
Right.
Because you brought in Teron Johnson, right? So if Teron Johnson is more of that slot corner, but then you got Stukes that's going to be that true safety, where does this kid play? And if he's truly just a rotational piece, we've gotten a lot of rotational pieces so far.
Right.
Even Trey Zune, I know people have talked about Trey Zune being like a rotational piece, but you don't rotate the line. So he's either starting or he's on the bench. You don't rotate offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Where at least Crawford can rotate in. If Zune ain't a starter, you ain't playing. And so this, again, there was more safeties on the board. I think at the end of the day, Dalton Johnson's a big question mark. I got to see just really how this one plays out. And shout out to Xavier saying Teron Johnson may get injured again. He might, but I think you put Trey Stukes there. Trey and Stukes can slot right in.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you just don't get just interesting picks in that third round. That would make more sense if we got bona fide starters in the third round. This pick would make more sense, just in my opinion. Next one. We're going Hezekiah Masses, guys. Let us know what your thoughts are on Hezekiah Masses. We got ourselves a potential number one corner. Starting out in that fourth round, we brought back Eric Stokes. DeCamerion Richardson was an early draft pick last year, and we just double dip in these last couple drafts, and we go get Hezekiah Masses. So, guys, chat, let us know what your thoughts are on this pick. Chris, man, I'm gonna throw it to you, man. What's your thoughts?
Can't lie, I like him, man. I like him. He's you know, a little smaller, but I mean, he gets his hands on the ball. You know, he gets after it. You know, second team All-American. I mean, just the ball skills. You see it. Again, you know, he's a smaller guy, so you always gotta kind of worry about that. Um, you know, just being able to deal with some physical receivers, you know, especially in our division. I know Denver got some big guys. I think the Chargers, they usually have big guys. I'm trying to think who they have. Yeah, they Quentin. Yes, I think they got a couple big guys. So, you know, just that part of the game, you know, will be, you know, a question mark. But just when you watch him, just as far as like his instinct, good hips, feet, good ball recognition, there's a lot to like about him, to be honest.
I'm with you. So Hezekiah Masses was one of my top corners on day 3. I really like the kid. So if you just talk about the talent at that spot, I do think it's really good. You kind of just keep getting this vibe that they're just trying to we're just trying to build up the secondary as much as we possibly can. Because what does this mean? Because you brought in what's his face? What's the Eric Stokes? You brought in Eric Stokes 1 year, cheap deal, came off of a good year last year, right? And he comes in, kind of has that veteran feel in a very young cornerback room, and so that's a good pick. But I can understand if he doesn't play because he's on a cheap deal and it's a 1 year, right?
Yeah.
But I'm wondering what this means for, you know, maybe like Decameron Richards, or not Decameron, sorry.
Porter. Yeah, Porter.
Was Darren Porter truly a Pete Carroll guy? You know, where they knew they were going to run a cover 3. They wanted a cover 3 corner. Darren Porter kind of met the matched up with that type of defense. I think Hezekiah Masses matches up a little bit well too, like that. But I think he's a little more versatile. Obviously, has more experience. Now, we loaded up on safety and corner in this entire draft. And I just think we're still missing some position groups that I would really love to address. Number 1 receiver, as well as D tackle. And it's not because of a true nose guard. And we'll talk about the D tackle situation in that last pick. But we just keep doubling up in the same position groups. I'm really interested just kind of how this is going to play out. So if you speak on just the player itself, I like the player. I really do. But again, it just feels like, where are we going with some of the younger players, the Darien Porters? How is that going to work? And you got the kid from Tennessee that just balled. If he stays healthy, could be a number 1 corner. So just want to see how it plays out with this kid. But I do think the value is really good at this pick.
For sure.
Myra in the building.
Myra G.
Core memories made in Pittsburgh.
It
was a good time, Myra. Shout out to you for definitely taking care of us. That's for damn sure. Making sure we didn't go off and do some crazy stuff.
Right.
But all right, we went corner. We'll see just kind of how it plays out. Great value there. So let's get to the next one. Malik Benson. We finally address the receiver room. Okay. So we're going to talk about Malik Benson. I'm going to go back to it. I just want to take a look real quick at what that receiver room looks like right now. Okay. Because I think a lot of us wanted to go after a receiver. So we're going to look at the receiver room and then we're going to go back and talk about Malik Benson. So right now, this is what our receiver room looks like. Obviously, Clint Kubiak, he likes to run 12 personnel. He's gonna probably run 3 tight ends at some point throughout the game. So we're probably going to have multiple tight ends on the field. We got Jalen Naylor in free agency, Dante Thornton, Jack Besh from last year. So receiver room looks like Jack Besh, Malik Benson, that we're going to talk about in just a second, Philip Dorsett, always hanging on, Shedrick Jackson, Jalen Naylor, free agency, Brendan Rice, Chase Roberts, UDFA, Corey Ruckner, UDFA, Justin Shorter, but Justin Shorter is more of a tight end. Dante Thornton, Trey Tucker, EJ Williams, UDFA, and Derek Young, free agent. So that's what our receiver room looks like.
It's nasty.
Back to Malik Benson. Just shout to our guy Dante, East Coast Gridiron. He did say he's a Florida State fan. One thing he did say when we're all chilling out is that there could be some character issues. He didn't say there is character issues. He said there could be character issues because apparently, for some reason, he kind of found himself out of Florida State. So he left Florida State
and Alabama. He started off at Alabama, left for whatever reason. I think he kind of got forced out. And I think the same thing at Florida State.
What was it, Alabama first?
Yeah, I think it was Alabama first. Yeah. So
kind of found his way out of Alabama for some reason, then found his way out of Florida State for some reason, and then finally landed, at Oregon. You look at the tape. Look, kid's fast. 4'3" guy could take the top off, right? He's going to go up and get the ball. I do think he's a guy that can stretch the field. Can he be a playmaker? The only concern I have is that, man, Oregon receivers really don't transfer well to the NFL. If you look at Oregon receivers, it's tough. But, Chris, man, I'm going to throw it to you, man. What's your thoughts on him? We finally addressed the receiver position, and we just looked at what that receiver room looks like. Kind of just let me know what your opinions are on this whole thing, and chat. Let us know what your thoughts are of this pick, as well as what our receiver rooms look like, and are you pleased with it? All right, Chris, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, just with him. I mean, again, he has some, he has some speed, so he has, someone that can get down the field and be a deep threat. But as far as someone that I think that can really, be an every down, receiver, full route tree and all that stuff, I don't see it. He might, Kubiak may be able to scheme him open and stuff like that, but yeah, that receiver room was tough, man. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know if they're going to try to look at any free agents, but there's really no free agents that makes me feel good about, going into week one, going to war with, the AFC West and then also the NFC West this year. So, yeah, man. To me, it's just too little too late at the wide receiver position for me. And again, that's why we look back at, the third round when someone like a Ted Hurst was there, right there on our lap, and we decided, to go elsewhere. So it's just tough.
Yeah, I think Jalen Naylor, if you go back and you watch his film, obviously he was the number 3 in Minnesota. Maybe he's going to play a much bigger role than a lot of us maybe think.
He has to. Yeah, he has to.
He has the same.
Was he there? I know he played with Kurt, but did he play with Kubiak when he was there?
Oh, I don't know if he did. I don't know if he did.
Okay, I can't remember either. Probably not though, but I'm just curious.
But if you watch Jalen Naylor's game film, I'm not saying he's JSN, but he can kind of move like that a little bit. And so my thing is Clint Kubiak thinking Jalen Naylor is going to be kind of like that JSN role where he's going to move him around. We did a film breakdown of Clint Kubiak's offense, and he took JSN, he lined him out wide,
yeah,
in the backfield.
Yeah.
So he's going to use him like that. I'm not saying he is that, but based on what we did in this draft, and we did not address the receiver until basically round 6, you're leaning on guys like Jack Besh, like Deontay Thornton, that didn't show a whole lot. Now they're rookies. Hopefully they can develop, but let's be real, right? John Spytek let Jacoby Myers walk out the building. And when that happened, Jack Besh still ended the season with 20 receptions total in 18 games, right? So the production's not there. And he's a developmental guy. He's a former tight end. Deontay Thornton is a one-trick pony. He's basically just going to try to take the top off the defense, and that's about it. And he's not very good at that. So, or at least as it stands right now, we got to see it develop. So, when you see us take a receiver at 6, and you take guys that are somewhat rotational pieces or question marks where they're going to play, this kind of opens up the door for Spytek going, man, if our receiver room is bad next year, you're going to look back at this draft and go, you missed in each and every round before this.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the 3rd round, you had Ted Hurst, Chris Brazzell sitting right there. I think at one point, Chris Bell was sitting in the 3rd.
Bell was there late. Yeah.
It was. I forget exactly.
Yeah.
But that's where I have an issue is if this receiver room don't look good next year, Your point.
Coming back to this. We're coming back to this. Yeah. Yeah.
Because that receiver room does not look much better than what we had last year. And you let Jacoby Myers walk. So, and I'm not saying Jacoby Myers is a number one, but Jacoby Myers is a solid, reliable receiver that is a damn good number two.
He would have been perfect for this room. Would have been perfect.
Yeah.
For what Mendoza likes. And even Kurt. Like he would have been perfect for that.
So again, just kind of question marks. How is this receiver room going to develop given the fact that we did not address it at all through picks 1 through 5 and picked up some players questionable as to where they're actually going to play and if they're going to play. So moving on to the final one. We got Brandon Cleveland. We're sitting at the airport. Waiting for our flights. The pick is in. Brandon Cleveland gets hit. We finally pick up an interior defensive tackle. Chat, let us know what your thoughts are on Brandon Cleveland. I know a lot of people wanted us to get a D tackle. We ended up getting one. We looked at his game film a little bit while we're sitting in the airport, at least I did. And so, Chris, man, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on Brandon Cleveland? Do you like the player, like the value? Did you want to go a little bit earlier? What's your thoughts overall? In chat, let us know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to go earlier on DT. But when I watch him for what I think that we're going to need him for, I think he's excellent at that. You know, he's not going to get much push in the passing game, but as far as just like being an anchor, taking up space, run stuffing, I like what I saw. I mean, you could tell he's strong. You know, at the point of attack, like there was a lot that I liked in him. You know, I think he has good hands. You know, his motor seemed pretty good. I like, you know, again, for what we're going to need him for, I think he can do it, to be quite honest. So 7th round, again, I wish we would have looked at it a little bit earlier, but you know, he's a guy that at least on film, you know, maybe Robbie Leonard get the most out of him. So I'm anxious to see what we can do with him.
Yeah. Before I move on, I think I saw Arnie saying, talking to me, you're not accounting coaching, scheme, and quarterback play. I'm accounting all of it. We broke down Clint Kubiak's game film, so I understand what Clint Kubiak wants to do. Can he scheme guys open? Of course he can. You know, even with the quarterback play, right? Maybe it is kind of dialed into a point where we're not always just taking the top off the defense, and it's more just working within the structure of, let's say, like flood concepts, right? To where, yes, you're going to be able to find kind of soft spots in the zone. I'm taking scheme into account as well as coaching and QB play, but you can also take into account what our receiver room looks like. And all I'm saying is, if we don't perform well, there's plenty of situations that we can point to in this draft and going, we should have addressed it. So even in free agency. So I'm taking it all into consideration. Before I get to my take, Chris, did you get this one?
Yeah. So salute to I'm a natural. So I love comments like this. So apparently y'all think you're way more in tune with the Raiders plan than their front office is. Interesting take. Then he went on to say it's a ridiculous one. So I love when people say that because everyone has a plan. You know, Mike Mayock had a plan. His plan was, even though he had a player that was graded late round to early first, or late first round to early second round, he still took that guy at number 4, which was Cleve Farrell. So, like, I don't want to hear about the plan and act like their plan is always correct, because at the end of the day, there's plenty of mistakes. They had a plan for Damon Arnett. They had a plan for Leatherwood. They had a plan for Jamarcus Russell. They had a plan for Abrams. I mean, I can go on and on. So I don't want to hear about that. Sometimes their plan is off. Sometimes they're wrong. So, you know, acting like, oh, you guys know more than, we're not saying we know more than, we're just giving our opinion. We're giving our take. But just to act like the front office is always right because they're the front office, they make plenty of mistakes. That's why a lot of those guys get fired and don't get a GM job again. Go ahead, man.
I'm with you. Tyree Wilson. Then we'll go to a positive one. What up, Houston? Appreciate y'all. Yeah, you'd like to play devil's advocate at times, but yeah, appreciate you rocking up in here. And so, look, here's my take on Brandon Cleveland. We're sitting at the airport. I actually looked up his game film, and I'm sitting there going, okay, I think the value is actually right. He actually looked pretty good. He popped on film a little bit. 7th rounder. You can get a guy that could be a good rotational, because that's where you start to get guys, right? You want to get a good potential piece, that guy that potentially could have some upside to start if somebody ends up getting hurt. Cleveland actually looked decent, enough to where I think the value's there in the 7th round. Now, would I have addressed it earlier on, the D tackle position? I would have. And it's not because I think we needed a true D tackle, because I said this very early on when Clint Kubiak kind of announced that we were going to move to a 3-4 scheme. I said, it really depends on what type of 3-4 scheme we're going to run. What type of formations are we going to run? Are we going to run more kind of over fronts where we're more even, right? And to me, it felt like that was going to be an indicator on how early we went for a D tackle. And obviously we didn't go early at all. And so I believe that's an indicator that we may not be running a true nose tackle a lot of the time. Now we're going to talk about Laki Tasi, but I think that's an indicator that we may run a lot of even fronts. We might run some over fronts so that we're not playing a true nose tackle. But the reason why I still would have went earlier with a D tackle is because we have Tonka Hemingway, and he shined a little bit last year. He had his moments, and I think there's some good upside there. JJ Pegues was just kind of hit or miss, right? Had some flashes, but didn't get on the field a lot. If you could get another good, young, dominant D tackle next to Adam Butler, that could be a nasty front four. Kwity Paye on one side, and maxxcrosby still on the other side. The excitement that we all had, especially I did, because obviously you guys know I'm a big Adam Butler fan, but the excitement that I had when Christian Wilkins and Adam Butler were going to play next to each other, I thought that was going to be nasty. Yeah. And so it doesn't necessarily need to be a nose tackle, a true zero tech, but I think you also needed a big dominant body next to Adam Butler so that, man, you could handle the trenches. Right. And then you free up the linebackers. Nakobe Dean can fly. Quay Walker can fly. So that's the only reason why, for me, I felt like we should have addressed it earlier on, because I definitely wanted to get a bigger body next to Adam Butler. So again, I think the value's right. I think it's actually a good player for the 7th round because he flashes enough on defense on his film to say, look, the upside might be there, and he can maybe fight for a spot to be a good rotational piece. And so let's see. Let me kind of get down there a little bit. Let's see. Severe hoping Cleveland gets Booker up out of there. Man, he just might. He just might. So, all right, let's see. Okay. But after we went Cleveland, we looked a little bit at the receiver room, but I also want to take a look at the cornerback room a little bit, because we went heavy cornerback and safety, right? So let's just take a look at what that cornerback safety room looks like. We're going to do that in just a second, and maybe I'll give my grade first. But Chris, we're kind of give the draft a grade. In chat, give the draft a grade, because I'll tell you right now, the overall consensus is that all the experts, NFL.com, all those guys, I mean, they basically gave us like an A-, I think.
Yeah, I've seen anywhere from A-, A+.
Yeah,
best draft in the NFL. I've seen all that.
I think they actually gave. I saw one that said we got the 2nd best draft outside Cleveland Browns. Now the Cleveland Browns, I think they crushed it. I'm not gonna lie.
They could.
They did some dirty work.
They could.
But when it comes to the grade of this draft, I know a lot of people are automatically, I think obviously the Fernando Mendoza pick weighs heavy on that. Plus, I'm going to get to my pick, but I'm going my soapbox for just a second. I could care less if people in the chat agree with me, but Ty Simpson going to the Rams at least justifies me just a little bit. God damn it. All right. When a good organization goes out their way to get their guy at number 13, the predecessor to Matt Stafford, an organization that when Les Snead brought on Sean McVay, they've literally been to the playoffs. I believe it's 7 out of the last 8-9 years that Sean McVay's been there. and they've been to the Super Bowl twice. They've won one. Like, when a player goes to a good organization, at least it's still got to figure out how he's going to do and how he plays out. Okay. But when a player that you are high on, that you like, goes to an organization like that does a good job of evaluating talent and getting talent in the building, at least it shows you're at least in the right direction. Got to see how it plays out, but at least you're in the right direction. So I'll get off my soapbox. Forget everybody else shit.
You don't know ball.
I know it must be. I think I'm going to give this draft. I'm not gonna lie, people are gonna hate it. I'm gonna give it a C+. I think I'm at a C+. Look, as much as I was team trade back, I have a lot of question marks of Fernando Mendoza and how he's going to transfer to the NFL. You filled a need. You got your guy. You got the guy of the future. So you got to get some credit for that. So I'll definitely give you credit for getting him. Again, hopefully the coaches can definitely produce him, and he's going to be what everybody else wants him to be, or what I want him to be too, now that he's a Raider. Travian Stukes, loved it. Loved the pick. But then you followed up with two guys, and I'm sitting there going, where do they play? Where's the role? Then you get yourself a running back, I think, good value. Then you get a potential number one corner, but could get injured. That's tough. You don't address receiver earlier than I'd like. You don't address a D tackle earlier than I'd like. And so I think at the end of the day, the mass majority of these picks are just kind of, where are they going to play? What role are they going to fill? And so I would have loved to see us get bona fide starters day one, or rounds 1, 2, and 3. And then you kind of play that rotational role, high upside, or, maybe high risk, but man, high reward. You know what I'm saying? And you would have just nailed those first 3 rounds. I think my grade would be very different. So I got it as a C+. That's kind of where I sit. So chat, let me know what you grade it. Chris, man, what's your thoughts overall? What do you grade it? What do you got?
Yeah, so I was, mine was definitely low, when I was on the plane heading back home. But I'm at about a B- right now. Because I always look at it as, any draft, if I can get 3 starters, then I feel that's a good draft. So, I think, Mendoza, he's not going to start this year, but we know he's going to be the quarterback of our future. So that's one. And then Stukes, at the end of the day, he's going to come in and start. And I really think that, the lineman's going to start as well. So you get 3 starters there. And then plus that added variable is McCoy. If you can get McCoy, healthy, you got a cornerback 1, man. You got your CB1. And then I like the what's his name? Hezekiah. Again, he's not going to be a guy that's going to probably play right away, but I think he's going to be a guy in year 2, year 3, really competing for, cornerback 2, and then getting some playing time. So, I think, we definitely miss, an opportunity to get some guys that, I thought that could have, been more of a impact on day one. But I think all in all, and plus, with our running back, I think he can kind of help us this year. So I'm at a B-. That's kind of where I'm at.
B-. All right, cool. One thing I will say is Dixon. So go watch Pat McAfee's interview with Les Snead. So apparently that was all an act. Sean McVay being pissed off. Apparently that was all an act, because they basically told Ty Simpson that they were going to go after him, but they wanted everybody to basically know like that wasn't the plan. And Sean McVay also didn't want Matthew Stafford to think that they're no longer backing him. So Ty Simpson apparently had like hours of conversation with Sean McVay and Les Snead, and they knew that was basically going to be the pick. And so I think go watch Les Snead's interview with Pat McAfee, and you might have a different perspective, because I think they knew that Ty Simpson was going to be the guy all along the entire time, and they were cool with it. So, so we'll see. We'll see how it kind of plays out. Yes, you got that red Cheeto. God damn it. So, all right. Just want to say what's up, Jerry. What up, Pigs? What's going on, brother? Appreciate you popping up in here. Good seeing you in here. And shout out Pigs. Go shout out Turf, man. Guys, go give Turf some love. Okay. It may not be too high on what's going on right now, but go support him. He goes live with
Turf is
Pigs.
down. Turf is feeling down, man.
Yeah.
Salute the Pigs, man. He does a show with Turf, and they have some good content over there, man. So salute to him, my man.
Oh yeah. So, all right, let's go to the next one again. Okay, so we're gonna go over to the DB room real quick, and we're gonna go take a look at what this DB room looks like. I'll try to zoom in a little bit so everybody kind of see it. So we'll look at cornerbacks first. Okay. So no matter how it worked out, I think the cornerback room, with the additions a little bit, we're gonna see some competition without question. But cornerbacks, man, Chigozie Anuzium, I think that's what it is. Teron Johnson, free agent, slot corner, / safety, Hezekiah Masses, Jermon McCoy, rookie, Caleb Oford, UDFA, Darian Porter, last year's early draft pick, DCam Richardson, Eric Stokes, brought back this year, and Greedy Vance. So if you take a look at this cornerback room, chat, let me know what you think of this cornerback room. Chris, what's your thoughts? You know, we might have some young rookies carrying us a little bit if it all works out.
Yeah, man. Again, it's a lot of what ifs, you know, a lot of open salutes, Cheeto. Because again, we don't know exactly what type of defense, you know, that we're really gonna run probably on the back end. So I don't know if DeCamrion's gonna fit into the scheme. I don't know if Darian Poyer is gonna fit into the scheme. You know, we don't know about McCoy as far as health wise. Hezekiah, I do like him. He's young, but there's still questions there. I mean, Eric Stokes, you know, he played pretty well, but even Eric Stokes, I mean, before last year, he was kind of known as being a guy that was always injured, you know, had some injury concerns. So there's still a lot of question marks there. I am glad that they addressed it though. So at least they got some young guys in there. But yeah, that's still going to be a room that's going to have to be developed. And I think, who's our DB coach? Is it still Joe Woods? Is he still our DB coach? Okay, so he's been here a couple years, and I know he's been bouncing around, but you know he's a veteran in this league, so hopefully he can get something out of these guys. Because I mean it's all about development for that room.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, look, again, doesn't matter where they're kind of drafted or kind of what happened during the draft. I think, in my opinion, there is a lot of high upside with this cornerback room. Again, Draw McCoy. If he turns out, you got yourself a #1 corner without question. You know, I like Hezekiah Masses, so he just brings, I think, really good competition. And that's kind of how this kind of battles out. But then, what I really do like, to be honest with you, and it's kind of I think it's kind of a under the radar move. You bring back Eric Stokes again. Had a solid year last year. A good veteran that's going to help some of these younger guys.
Yeah,
you know, and it's just a 1 year. So he's going to play. He's going to be solid. I think he's going to be a good locker room guy to kind of help develop some of these younger guys. And then he moves on and he finds his next home. You know, so I think they played this at least cornerback room really well. And again, I hope Jermon McCoy, he does.
Yeah, he's an X factor, man. He's an X factor. If he can become our, you know, I mean, I think this year we know Eric Stokes is going to be, you know, our CB1, but if he can become our CB1 for the next 3 to 4 years, I'm all set.
Yeah. So next up, let's look at the safeties. We went safety heavy. So let's take a look at the safeties, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are of the safety room.
I forgot we got Terrell Edmonds. I forgot we picked him up.
Yeah. Let me know what you think about the safety room. But I think, Rebel, you're saying A- draft, easy for me, filled a lot of needs. We'll push a lot of guys off the roster. All right. What up, Raider Pete? Watch Paulo Mao become an outside linebacker when using the 3-4 or hybrid scheme. With the amount of players that we brought in, even through the draft, I think it's going to allow for that type of flexibility. So it'll be very interesting, just kind of how it works out. So, guys, let us know what your thoughts are of the safety room. Repeat, Stokes and Stukes. Start to McCoy is good to go. We'll see. Severe, he's only a 4th round pick, but I'd like to but it'd be a waste of a guy like McCoy's talent to stick him in a pure zone scheme.
Yeah, that's true.
He's a round corner, man.
Yeah.
So Chris, man, thoughts? Safety room. We brought in some help with the rookies. What do you like about the safety room?
Again, I think year 2, I think Chin can play a little bit better, because I actually thought Chin was gonna be, pretty good last year. And again, just that whole team as a whole, they look a little shaky, but I think Chin can do it. Edmonds, I know he's a little older, but coming out of college, I was always a fan of him. Palomar, again, he's another guy we just don't know, can he continue to develop. And then Stukes, if he can be what we think he can be a starter, get out there, get after the ball. I feel okay about the safety room, at this point, so, the Dalton Johnson pick, I don't think we needed that, but, I feel okay at safety.
Yeah, I think, again, what they tried to do is they tried to not only create a lot of competition, but I also think that the trend of this draft was prepping for the future, which
yeah,
I understand. I'm not the biggest fan because of the possible rotational pieces we got early, right? Like, you want to get day 1 stars, you build through the draft, and this is a draft that I think we could possibly look back, if the mass majority of this draft just does not perform well, we could look back at too many situations where, damn it, but that was, so that's the only kind of, I don't want to say issue, but just concern I have with this draft. But you look at the safety room, Jeremy Chin. Now, we couldn't break down game film with Jeremy Chin last offseason, just couldn't get to it, but I had it ready. And I had a lot of concerns with Jeremy Chin based on this game film. And I think he played okay last year. You got Terrell Edmonds that's going to be able to just be a decent rotational piece. Dalton Johnson is in there. Again, what role he's going to play, we just don't know. Got the Devin Lafayette, UDFA, Tristan McCollum, bringing him back from last year. Isaiah Palomar. I think Isaiah Palomar, trading Stukes, that's going to be a good competition.
Yeah. Yep.
We're just going to see who beats out who, but I do think the Traden Stukes move and maybe Dalton Johnson move, even though we have, and he's back up with the corners, which is Teron Johnson. I believe we just took over that contract. So Teron Johnson isn't going to be here, I believe, in 2028. In 2028. So we might need to replace him as that contract expires, and maybe that is a Dalton Johnson that kind of just slots in as that slot corner. That might be the plan. And again, it's more that tactic of building for the future. So,
one thing, like, kind of you're talking about, just to me, this draft kind of contradicts, us being excited about keeping maxxcrosby. Because again, I mean, this shows again that, the timeline is still off. Like, you want to take advantage of Max now because, Max is still in his prime. And you want to get the most out of him now. It's like, man, by the time we're good, where is that going to put Max? He's going to be ready for another contract. Is it going to be worth it at that point? So, again, a lot of these moves are for down the line. So that's why we were talking about trading Max. And again, SpyTek tried to do it and it didn't work out. But it's just like, man, it makes you think, like, the overall plan was to look at the future. So,
yeah. And I get it. I get looking at the future, but at the same time, if the talent is there and it fills
right,
it, you got to get it.
Right.
But we're going to see how this thing plays out for sure. And shout out to Rebel, man. I think you asked the question. You said this draft is better than the 2024 draft? ? That's funny.
No.
Yeah. So
No way.
You asked.
Well, okay, hold on. Let me think.
I got it. So
Yeah.
I actually pulled it up because I wanted to kind of make a comparison. I want to make a little bit of a comparison, and
See, McCoy. See, the McCoy is like the X factor, and you just don't know what Mendoza will be. But I mean, you got well, actually, because JPJ didn't.
Hold on.
Yeah, my bad. Go ahead. My bad. I'm talking too much. Go ahead.
So you guys, this was last year's draft. So let's judge because this is
he said it. He said a year before, didn't he? He said the 24.
Oh, she said 2014.
No, the 2024. Isn't that what he said?
He's got 2014 there. This draft better than 2014.
Oh, is that what he? Oh, okay, my bad. Okay,
you
my
mean
bad.
That because man, I ain't going back 2014.
Yeah, I thought you said 24. I'm like, yeah, that was Bowers, but okay,
so,
I got you.
Let's look at it real quick. So 2025 draft.
He's talking about the car draft. Okay, I got you, Rebel. I got you.
Yeah. My bad. I'm probably not going to go that far back. I mean, the card, bro. You got Khalil Mack.
Yeah, Khalil Mack, Carr, Gabe.
Oh yeah, Gabe was that draft, huh? Gabe Jackson.
Gabe was a third. Yeah, he was a third round.
You got bona fide starters.
Yeah, that's three right there.
That was the Amari Cooper draft too, right?
No, Amari was the next year.
Yeah.
TJ Carey, Shelby Harris. Yeah.
Ooh, Shelby.
Yeah.
I like TJ Carey, man. I was actually pissed.
Me too.
Me
too. I like TJ Carey, man.
He went to Cleveland and did his thing over there for a little bit.
Yeah.
All right. Let's compare it now. And then we're going to talk about Laki Tassi. Let's compare it. Last year's draft, Ashton Genty, Jack Besh, Darian Porter, Caleb Rogers, Charles Grant late in the third, Dante Thornton Jr., Tonka Hemingway, JJ Pegues, Tommy Millott, Cam Miller that didn't even make the squad, and then Cody Lindenberg.
Yeah, he said it was 2014. That's what he's talking about. So not last year.
Okay.
I'm about to say I didn't like last year's draft.
I honestly, I think obviously with how much people love Fernando Mendoza right now, I think this year's draft could definitely take it over. But you take a look at this draft, right? And we'll just kind of play this out. Genty, first pick, running back. Jack Besh. A lot of people liked him, but also there was quite a few people out there that were like a little early. They didn't have him really up there. But again, former tight end, 1 year as a receiver. Depends on what can you do. Darian Porter, project, 1 year playing corner, previously a receiver. Project. Caleb Rogers, you kind of traded back quite a bit. You didn't address the guard like a lot of people want to early on. Then you got Charles Grant right after that, which was a project, small school kid, but project. Dante Thornton Jr. coming from a school. Don't produce the best receivers in the world. Very one-dimensional. Tonka Hemingway. I think a lot of people thought that there was more talent on the board, but Tonka Hemingway, he flashed last year. JJ Pegues, hit or miss. Two players didn't make it. Cody Lindenberg, special teams player, right? Which is fine in the 7th round. Special teams player. Let's go to this year's. All right. Fernando Mendoza, Traden Stukes. All right. Obviously, the future at quarterback, Traden Stukes, day one starter. I think a lot of us can agree. Kieran Crawford, developmental player. Where is he going to play? Trey Zune could be a starter, but remains to be seen just kind of how they're going to play him out. Jerome McCoy, very high upside, question mark with the health. I think a lot of people like Mike Washington. I think that's a good duo, at least, for Genty. Dalton Johnson, probably day one special teams guy. Where is he going to play on defense? Hezekiah Masses, going to be a battle. Could be a backup. Maybe could find his way as a starter. Malik Benson, could be a take the top off guy, but just really remains to be seen. And if he has the character issue, like our guy Dante was saying, just don't know how it's going to work out. And then Brandon Cleveland, D tackle, flashes a little bit on film, good value, But I really don't know which one is a better draft unless you just really value Fernando Mendoza. So chat, let us know. Do you like this year's draft or do you like last year's draft? Let me know. Let's see.
This year is way better than last year's, I think.
I do like, Trayden Stukes, I really like that. I don't think, let me go back to the previous one. I don't know if there was a pick last year that I thought knocked it out that was like solid.
Talking about last year? Yeah.
Yeah, last year.
Yeah. Because none of us was really high on Genty at 6. And then, I was pissed when we got Besh at
I was pissed.
Because Will Johnson, we could have got Will Johnson in the second. I did like Porter but again, understanding that he was going to be a project, but now us changing systems on him, I think all that's going to do is mess up his development. I did like Thornton, Charles Grant. We already know how I feel about him. I did like Rodgers. So, but yeah, you're right. I don't think there was no one in last year's draft I was super excited about.
No, because even when we picked Tonka Hemingway,
yeah,
Joshua Farmer.
Farmer was on the board. Yeah,
Florida State.
Yeah.
And we just went back-to-back D tackles, so we're trying to figure out what the strategy was there. So again, out of this entire draft, the only guy that I wanted, and it was only because we didn't address the linebacker room before, was Cody Lindenberg. that was the only guy that I wanted at that spot.
Oh yeah, because he was so
good. So, again, yeah, chat. Let us know, like the 2025 draft better or this draft. Again, I do think Fernando Mendoza is going to sway that a little bit. I'm looking at the chat. Oh, shit.
Yeah, everybody's saying this year.
God, that's the wife making fun of me. That's the wife making fun of me. God damn it. Thank you.
Where was she at?
She says I say in reality a lot. Okay. So she's making fun of me. Damn it. Thanks, babe. Okay. So again, kind of going through this draft. I think I'm with you. I think that I probably like this. I think I like this draft better.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
And I think it's probably because Trayden Stukes, Trey Zune, only because of the upside. He could possibly take over JPJ or probably JPJ's because he can't beat up my boy Jordan Meredith. We're going to move on. Jamal McCoy, again, the high upside, and Mike Washington. I do like Hezekiah Masses. He was high on my board, but I think Mike Washington.
How many starters did we have in last year's draft? 1.
God, who ended up starting? So Genty, Besh didn't starting. Darian Porter didn't start because Kai Blue Kelly took his spot.
Yeah,
he started, but when Kai Blue Kelly got hurt, that's when Darian Porter.
Yeah, it's like one starter, man.
No.
I mean, Thornton started off, but it was. I think that was kind of forced, honestly. I think that was a peak. I mean, but we'll count him though. We'll count him because he was a starter. So got 2 starters in that class.
Got 2 starters. Okay, so 2 starters last year. 2 starters last year. Let's see how many starters do we think we have this year. So obviously that Fernando's a wash. If he doesn't start, it is what it is. Trayden Stukes, starter. Rotational. Maybe.
I think he starts. Yeah.
Okay, we'll put him as a starter. Trey Zune. Do you guys think Trey Zune starts? John McCoy. He could start if he's healthy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's hard to judge him, but I think he's a starter though. I consider him a starting talent.
So that's possibly 3. If he's healthy, doesn't have to get his surgery. What up, Rundown? What's happening, man? That's it. So we got 3 this year, possibly. Again, big question mark. Trey Zune. Gerald McCoy, question mark, just because of the health. Do the Raiders force him to get that surgery? It doesn't work out.
Yeah. And he's how old is he? Like 24, 25?
I don't know.
One of them is one of them's kind of older. Aren't what is it? Is it Stooks?
I think Stooks is older because I think this is the COVID class. So all these guys, basically, one, you got NIL, but two, you got these guys that played an extra year, or I think some of them like redshirted that first year. So these are older guys for sure. So, Raider Nation 510 2026 draft, because we got the QB. I know a lot of people will definitely weigh that heavily, and I'm with you. I got you.
Yeah.
So okay. So I think the vast majority, I think, are stating that the 2026 class is probably overall the better one. So, let's see. Unleash, are you saying that to me? 895. Pull up Crawford. That says compared to
stats. I think he's talking about stats.
Oh, no, I was not a big Culture Falk fan. I think he actually lacked what Keon Crawford can bring to the table, which is a pure pass rush. So, again, we'll kind of see how it all plays out. So
yeah, he'll be a passing down guy. I mean,
oh yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to remove this. I'm going to break this down. We're going to go back up to the big screen for a quick second, and then we are going to go to the last topic. Let me go ahead and get the screen ready. We're going to go to the last topic. And I think this one is one that I think the vast majority of the fan base is going to be excited about. It's something we talked about the moment that he moved over the offensive line last year. We gave you guys our opinion. And I'm going to bring it up on the screen. Our boy Laki Tassi, 6'6", 373 pounds. They are now moving him back to the D-line. Now, this could have answered the question as to why maybe we didn't get a D tackle early on. Maybe he's going to be that rotational nose guard, that zero tech, that's going to be able to just play that short yardage role, whether it's 4th and 1, goal line. Maybe this is our guy. But I just want to preface this really quick. Chat, let me know what your thoughts are of Laki Tassi moving over to the defensive side. Obviously, we know last year he moved over from defense to offense. I think it was just because of the fact that Christian Wilkins, that whole incident happened. He's a young, inexperienced player. I think they needed the roster spot, so they moved him over to offense. But we said very early when that happened, we hated the move of Laki Tassi going to the offensive side. But he's back. So, chat, let us know what your thoughts are. Chris, man, let me know. What are your thoughts of big Laki Tassi, man, moving back over to the defense?
You know, I absolutely I love Laki Tassi. So, like, hearing, you know, and I didn't even realize they moved him back until you pointed it out when he was wearing the white jersey yesterday or the day before. But I'm stoked about this because he's, you know, me being a rugby player and just understanding what those guys do. And just watching him play, like he's literally built for just a DT. And he, like, as you always said, like he can make an impact right away, you know, for what, like, honestly, the things that I saw Brandon Cleveland do, Laki Tassi can probably do right now, just as he's learning. You know what I'm saying? Just get in the way, push your guy back, cause a disruption. That's all you got to do. Now we can give you, you know, your, you know, put some extra moves in your tool bag, you know, eventually. But, you know, as far as just a pure guy that can just, you know, just stuff the run and just be a disruptor, and he can move, like the dude can really run too. I love it. Somehow Brandon Carroll was able to get him over to the offensive line last year. I don't know how, but that's ridiculous. But I'm glad to have him back.
Yeah. You know, he's a young, inexperienced player. He's never played football before prior to last year, right? He's part of that international player program where he's coming from a different country. So he has the rugby background. And if you go back and you look at some of his rugby highlights, this kid can move. He's athletic at 6'6", 373. That is wild. And if you just look at him, man, he's, you know, like he's got a base to him, but he can move. And when you when you talk about a young, inexperienced player, and now you are playing against guys that have played this game for 15, 16, 17 years at the highest level possible, right? You're not just going against, young rookies. You're going against guys that have been in the league for 8, 9, 10 years.
Yeah.
When you are a young, inexperienced player like that, you want to be able to put him in a position that he's going to have the best chance at success. The offensive line, it is one of the hardest things, one of the hardest positions to play just in sports in general, because this is a really good way to kind of preface how important the offensive line is, to be honest. When you look at the offensive line, you have 5 positions on the offensive line. You're only as good as your weakest link. And if there's 60 to 65 snaps in the game, you can be perfect 63 of those times. But if you give up 2 sacks in one game, you're going to look like absolute trash. People are going to want to get rid of you. But you could be perfect 63 plays. Yeah, but if you're off 2 and you give up 2 sacks, they want to get rid of you. But go to the flip side on defense. Look at maxxcrosby. The amount of times that we see maxxcrosby overrun the quarterback, the times that he kind of undercuts the running back, and next thing you know, he leaves a big gap, right? But if maxxcrosby gets 2 sacks in the game, now he's an absolute genius. He's the best player in the world. You can make a mistake on defense, let's say on the interior defensive line, and the amount of times that we pointed out Thomas Booker making mistakes, but yet he made that one play where he hustled 15 yards downfield and caused the fumble. Everybody was like, holy crap, he's the next coming. But you can point to 15, 16 of the times where he just did not execute well. The offensive line, you are under an absolute microscope. So if you take a young guy like this, very inexperienced, but has a lot of athleticism, 6'6", 375 pounds, all he has to do is take up a double team. He doesn't even need to play.
Right.
He could take up the double team and Nakobe Dean makes a tackle for a loss.
Right. Keep the linebackers clean.
That entire D-line unit is going to congratulate Laki Tassi because he did his job. That's all he's got to do. And when you have a young kid like that, and again, he's a rugby player, so he's an athlete. When you have a young kid like that can now gain confidence, sky's the limit at that point. And if he just gains confidence because he took up a double team and the defense stuffed a 4th and 1 and he's part of the reason, but he didn't even make the play, this kid is going to continue to thrive and grow. And hopefully he goes from a rotational player, right? Situational, 4th and 1, get in there, just create a pile. 3rd and short, just create a pile, to all of a sudden now he's finding himself playing 16, 17, 18 plays and actually having an impact. That would be amazing for this young kid.
And people think I'm crazy. Put him in on the goal line as a fullback.
The way he run with rugby, oh man,
that's what I'm saying. Because he can handle the ball. But I mean, once you get this guy going, there's no stopping him on the goal line. Are you kidding me?
He's a big boy.
That's what I'm saying. Like he said, and he can move.
Or he's got that rugby talent. Put him as a fullback. Just slot him in there.
Yeah.
And lead block. Somebody and make a hole.
And the thing is, because remember, we even watched some of his reps in preseason. Even as a guard, he still showed like, you know, that he kind of knows, he kind of knows what's going on. I mean, again, he was out there. You could tell he's still learning, but like when he got his paws on somebody, he stopped the dude dead in his tracks. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
So we'll see. So
that might be the reason why we didn't address an actual true nose tackle early. And again, it's like I said before, if we're gonna play just more of an even front on this defense, then maybe you just need a nose tackle for situational. This might be the guy.
Yeah.
Might be the guy. And I would be happy for him, man. I'm telling you, we were all excited when we saw him on the defensive side earlier last offseason, and next thing you know, you switch him over the offensive line. One thing I will say, though, is last year him going to the offensive line, that might help him this year. Because now he understands the offensive line what they want to do, the blocking schemes, how they're going to attack him, right? When he notices a zone blocking scheme versus a power scheme coming in front of him, maybe he's going to be able to just kind of understand the O-line better. And maybe that experience that he had last year on the O-line can really help him being more effective on the D-line this year. That's my glass half full moment. I know you guys don't get much of it. So, but all right. We're going to go back up to the big screen. That's it. We broke down the draft. What we're going to do on Sunday is we are going to break down the UDFAs. Again, I want to just kind of do a little more research on those UDFAs. Arnie, I appreciate you, man. I see you throwing some questions out there. We're going to – let's do this, man. Arnie, you good at always throwing questions out there. You're saying which rookie are you most interested in? I think you're saying seeing this preseason other than Mendoza. Chat, answer that question as well. I think there's two, man. Trevion Stukes and Mike Washington Jr.
Yeah.
I want to see this kid run. I want to see just kind of what kind of 1-2 punch we're going to have in that backfield. So those two guys are definitely one I'm excited to see. So Chris, man, what guys are you excited to watch?
Yeah, I would say them. I'm gonna look at like Hezekiah. Like I really want to watch him as well, just see how he picks it up in Zoom. I want to see what he does. So I know he just said one, so or which rookie. So I would, out of all of them, I definitely want to see Mike Washington for sure, and then Stukes.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm a natural. Are you saying Thomas Booker catching strays? He's not catching strays. We're just being truthful based on the game film that we break down all season long. You say, tell me who won that trade, Roseman or Spytek? I have my opinion on this, Chris. What's your thoughts? Because obviously they got your boy over there.
I'm about to say, it hurts me because I like Jacorian, and the thing with Jacorian was his health, and of course he goes over there and gets hurt and didn't play that well anyway. But I think it's too early to tell. I personally like Jacorian, to be quite honest. Booker, the fact that we drafted I don't know. I think that Booker, yeah, I'm just not a Booker guy, man. Yeah, we didn't draft no one to kind of take his spot, so we'll see.
So who do you think won it? Did you say
if I have to say, I gotta say the Eagles won. And again, that's hard. That's hard for me to say because I like, no, I'm sorry, not the Eagles. I'm tripping. The Raiders won. I'm tripping.
Raiders won.
Yeah.
I think the Raiders only won because Booker stayed healthy. That was it.
Right. That's kind of what I was getting to for sure.
Because Corey Bennett, he got hurt. So how much can you kind of judge off of that coming off of a good season that he had with us the previous year? Right. So Corey Bennett showed that second year that he can play. Yeah, he got injured. He was injury prone, which is really tough for a young player. But the only reason why I think the Raiders won is because he got hurt. That's it. Thomas Booker was not good last year, period. He wasn't good. He had a couple good plays, but you can count on one hand how many good plays he had. And he was our starting interior tackle.
He had a hustle plays. One thing about him, he has a motor. But yeah, like as soon as someone puts his hands on him, he'd stop right at contact.
Right at contact, and he could not defeat his own run scheme. He couldn't. Offensive lineman got position on him all game long. And so, in addition to that, he had zero pass rush. He was completely ineffective in the pass rush. And I would tell you, I think Jonah Laulu played much better than him. So we traded for a guy. We gave up Jacorian Bennett, a younger player, kind of had some high upside, but injury prone. So I only think the Raiders won is because Booker stayed healthy. That was it. And he was just available because he was not very good 98% of the season. So, all right. So let's go. We're going to get out of here, man. We appreciate everybody rocking. Do us a favor. One, double tap the screen. Hit the like button. After this, go hit up our boy Severe. He rocked with us in Pittsburgh, man. We had a hell of a time. Shout out to everybody that we got to meet, link up with. We had a great time. But after we get out of here, guys, definitely go over to Jeff's channel, 401 Raider Jeff, Cheeto Linus, J Raider. They're doing a live right now. Jump over, give them support, but also support our boy Turf, man. He needs some love for sure.
Support Turf.
Support.
Hashtag support turf.
Yeah. So Ultimate Raider Fan 32, by the way, that's a channel. But Chris, man, let everybody know what you got going on, where they can find you on your channel.
Yeah.
Before we get out of here,
it's your boy Chris with Protect the Show podcast, where my opinions might not always be popular, but they'll always be authentic. And again, sometimes you guys aren't going to agree. Oh well, deal with it. And again, I'm not going to sugarcoat stuff. Apparently people in the chat, talking about us being negative. But at the end of the day, we're discussing a team that is has the second most losses in the last, couple decades. So again, we're going to be realists at this point. We're not here to coddle you. So if that's what you're looking for, we're not going to be the right place. But for everyone else is here, man, appreciate you guys, man. Definitely check out my interview that I had with Hugh Jackson last week. So it was definitely a fire interview. Was able to kind of talk about, some good things there. So definitely check us out.
Yeah, 100%, man. We appreciate everybody that's rocking. yeah. Turf hasn't been happy in 2 years. Yeah,
Poor turf.
if you've ever been able to enjoy and watch that, it all started.
Oh man!
It all started with shit. What's our tight end? Why am I blanking on his name?
Who, Mayer?
No, our best tight end. Why am I
blanking Bowers?
Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
I think the crash out started with Brock Bowers.
Oh yeah.
That sparked everything for our board. So
yeah.
Yeah. Go shot turf, man. If you guys saw that crash out, it was classic. I wish I could have saw it in person.
Classic.
Bueno, no coddling. God damn it, it's not happening.
No coddling, man. No coddling, Bueno.
So, but yeah, definitely after this, go check out Severe's channel. He's part of the Raider War Room. He's 1/3 of it. We rock out with you guys on Wednesdays and Sundays. If you guys don't know, I'm 805 Raider, Real Talk, Raider Nation. Big shout out. If you guys are going to be in Southern California, Bakersfield is coming up. Big Raider Nation event. A lot of Raider fans show up to it. It's a great way to kind of kick off the summer. So myself, Severe, we're going to try to make it over there. Leo Cheetah Linus, he's going to be there. Trey Tucker is going to be there. You can have an opportunity to buy a ticket. He's going to be signing some autographs. So definitely go and check that out if you want to. But if not, man, bring the fam. It's family friendly. It's an awesome time. Or they're going to have like a barbecue cook-off. It's going to be pretty cool. So definitely check it out. We appreciate all of the subscribers. We appreciate all the members. We appreciate all the super chats that were thrown out there today. Definitely tap in with us on Sunday, and we'll tap into more of the UDFAs, do a deeper dive on that, and man, get this offseason kicked off because draft is over. Now we got to wait for the schedule release, which will happen on Wednesday. I think it's May 13th. We go live on Wednesday, so we'll be live with you guys on that schedule release. So appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your day. We'll see you on Sunday. We out of here.